Aaron Judge. And we wonder why the Yankees over the last couple of years didn't give this guy an extension. Maybe because of injury. In the last 2 seasons, especially last year, he played 140 games and played the majority of the season and was one of the only healthy ones on that roster and had a pretty good year. And then this year was a completely game-changing season for Aaron Judge. Breaking the home run record in the American League, 62 home runs, was sensational, something that we'll probably never see for 50 more years. Almost winning the batting title and then almost winning the Triple Crown. Hitting 311, his OPS was one for the ages, one of only 2 players to ever have an OPS over 1,100. The other one, Barry Bonds. And just what he transformed in the outfield. From a right fielder to a center fielder. And was 4th runner-up for a Gold Glove this year. I think he should have won, by the way. Stole 17 bases amongst 36 players in the league to do that. And you look at what the Yankees have done over the last couple of years in overpaying Garrett Cole, making the trade for Giancarlo Stanton, who I think has been a good Yankee, making a trade for Anthony Rizzo, bringing in the absolute terrible Donaldson, extending Aaron Hicks. Are those championship moves? And the answer right now is no. This year, they go to the American League Championship. They were one of the best teams in the league. In the first half, they were unstoppable. Their bullpen got hurt. In the second half of the season, this just wasn't the same team. The player that glued this together was Aaron Judge. And in the month of August, where the Yankees couldn't buy a win, the Yankee fans were just completely attacking how bad the Yankees were in the month of August. It was kind of shaded because what Aaron Judge was doing was something that nobody has ever done in the American League. He was right there with Roger Maris and Babe Ruth and Hank Greenberg, guys that hit 55 or more home runs in the American League. And everybody remembers Roger Maris, who in 1961, chasing Babe Ruth's record with Mickey Mantle, Mickey Mantle gets hurt, Roger Maris stays in, and finally breaks 60 home runs with 61. The MLB never accepted that until Roger Maris was dead. It wasn't until the 80s where he was well respected as the home run champion of the American League, the home run champion of all the leagues. And then we remember McGwire and Sosa and Bonds, the steroid era, and then it all the way comes to this in 2022 when Aaron Judge hits over 60 home runs and breaks the record at 62 in the final 3 games of the season. And even if Aaron Judge didn't hit 311, and even if Aaron Judge didn't get walked intentionally more than any player besides Barry Bonds in Major League history, or OPS over 1,100, you will remember Aaron Judge and this season to be one of the greatest single seasons in Major League history.
One of the most complete of any MVP season. Stolen bases, base running, playing center field, which is going to help his market value now because corner outfielders in today's market, probably since 2015, have not gotten paid to the same amount that center fielders would. But when you talk about the home runs to start, you don't see a lot of 50 home run seasons since that whole steroid era. Ryan Howard had one, Pete Alonso had one his rookie year, and obviously Judge's rookie year, but not many of them. And if they were hitters that were like Ryan Howard that struck out 200 times a year and hit 215. They weren't guys that are hitting 311 like Aaron Judge did, nearly winning a batting title, and with an OPS of 1.111, one of the top 3 of the StatCast era, a guy that really carried the Yankees in that second half of the season when they were struggling. This guy was still hitting amidst all that, still getting on base amidst all that. You don't see a guy get intentionally walked that many times, probably since Miguel Cabrera's Triple Crown year. And this is a guy, when he's healthy, that's been very consistent year to year. Even some of the years where he's gotten hurt, 2018 and 2019, had 27 home runs in both of those years. Yeah, the RBIs were a little lower, but remember how many injuries the Yankees had in 2019? It was the second most in baseball besides the Rays. But this is the icing on the cake for a guy that bet on himself and is going to inspire a lot of other players to bet on himself with the year he had.
Congratulations to Paul Goldschmidt, too. National League MVP. And he had the runner-up on the same team in Nolan Arenado. It was a sensational year for Paul Goldschmidt. He hit over 35 home runs. He was a Gold Glove first baseman. He's been fantastic for the Cardinals and one of the best first basemen in baseball for the last 10 years. So congratulations to him as well.
Now an MVP to help his Hall of Fame case.
Oh, yeah. He'll be a Hall of Famer.
He should be, but you never know with the baseball writers.
He has over 300 home runs. I think he needs at least 400. Gets over 1,300 RBIs. I think there's a good chance he could be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's got 315 career home runs, 1,040 22 RBIs, and a career .295 hitter, .391 on base percentage. And he's won 4 Gold Gloves, 7 All-Stars.
I would say if he gets closer to 1,500 RBIs, I think he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best first basemen of this era. There's a good chance he could get into the Hall of Fame. He's 35 years old. He could play another 3-4 years at the top of his game.
Which is the length of his contract.
If he plays to the length of his contract and stays healthy, which he's fairly healthy every single year. He plays hurt. I have to give him a lot of credit. Even when he's not healthy, he still plays. And that's what you expect from your best player. So congratulations to him. The Yankees extend Anthony Rizzo to a 2-year, $34 million deal, club option for the 3rd year, worth about $17 million. I think this is a good contract for the Yankees. And if they do lose Aaron Judge, they need power in that lineup, especially with Giancarlo Stanton, who can't stay healthy. He never stays healthy. So they need some kind of power in the middle of that lineup if they do lose Aaron Judge. And plus, he's a good leader. He has a good personality. He's very good with the press. He's what you want from a guy that has won a championship with the Cubs and is a firm leader in that locker room. So I think this was a great deal. Hal Steinbrenner and the Yankees spent money on this. This is not a young guy. Right. He's 33. To sign him for a 2-year, 3-year extension all the way till he's 36, that's taking a chance to a guy that in the last couple of years has fought some injuries. So I think this is a good deal, and I don't want to hear from the Yankee fans that the Yankees aren't spending money.
Besides the batting average, had a very good, well-rounded year, too. Had 75 RBIs, 32 home runs. Yeah, he had some bad stretches in the second half of the season, too, but still got on base a lot. It was a .338 on base percentage for a guy that had a low batting average and 817
His batting
OPS.
average is going to shoot up this year.
Yeah, it should.
Because there's no shift anymore.
Because he's been pretty steadily 270-ish hitter in his career. A bad year batting average-wise in 2020, but that was a shortened season. Pretty steadily, and every year before that, he was consistently in the 270 range and 280 some years as well.
I think he hits about 270, 280 going into this year because he can't shift anymore. Where he likes to hit the ball, you can't put 5-6 players on that side of the field. And a lot of people say, well, these are professional baseball players. It shouldn't matter if they shift or not. But these guys were trained and taught themselves for years to hit that way. Why should they change their swing? So I think that's going to change the game of baseball. I think it's going to open up the offense. And I think there'll be more offense than we've ever seen. I'm not talking about home runs because everybody's trying to hit for the fences. I think now the players will hit for average because they don't have to worry about hitting it out to not be shifted on. So I think this is a good move for the major leagues. I know a lot of people don't like it, but Bryce Harper is not complaining anymore about the DH because this year, if it wasn't for the DH, he doesn't play in the playoffs.
And the Phillies don't make the playoffs, probably.
And by the way, he just went in for UCL surgery, so he could be out a significant amount of time. He might miss half the season next year. We heard that from our friend, Charlie Slows. He said that this was going to happen. It'll be a very interesting offseason for a lot of teams, including the Philadelphia Phillies. Buck Showalter wins the National League Manager of the Year. Congratulations to Buck. Very well deserved. There were quite a few other managers that deserved Manager of the Year in the National League, but Buck had a very good season. For his first season as the New York Mets head coach, manager, I think this was a great year for the Mets and something to drive on. I know Met fans were not happy after losing against the Padres in the wild card. They should have won the division. They were up in the division all season long, and then they blamed Buck because of the breakdown. I don't think it had anything to do with Buck. It had something to do with the pitching. Max Scherzer not being healthy. I've told that to Met fans when they made the move for Max Scherzer. Max is healthy. He's always healthy. He wasn't healthy this year. He was hurt 3 times this year. What do you think is going to happen next year? And that's his final year of his contract, which they can give him that extension, that 3rd-year option, if they want to continue moving forward with him. And they might have to if they lose Jacob deGrom to free agency.
Just Charlie Slows. He's the closest to it with the Nationals. And even he said he wasn't pitching healthy last year towards the end of the season. And even before he got traded to the Dodgers.
And I don't expect him to be 100% healthy next year either.
I think that was a big reason, though, that Buck did end up getting the Manager of the Year. It definitely could have gone a lot of different ways. I think Brian Snitker definitely could have gotten it with the Braves as well. But I think a lot of the Mets' success in August, when both Scherzer and DeGrom were hurt at the same time, and the Mets still staying afloat amidst all that, leveraged Buck in terms of the writers getting the nod with him. Very close race. Could have given it to the Cardinals, rookie guy Marmol as well. Rob Thompson is a great story with the Phillies, too, but it's a regular season award, so he's probably not going to get it for being an interim manager. But...
And then the Mets and the Yankees being investigated for collusion. I heard the story that Steve Cohen reached out to Hal Steinbrenner and said he will not step in and extend or even make an offer to Aaron Judge because he believes he should be a Yankee for life. And if it's true, there is collusion. The MLB needs to find Steve Cohen and needs to find Hal Steinbrenner. I understand they're friends. Epler and Brian Cashman are very good friends. Epler comes from the tree for Brian Cashman and is very well respected around the league. I could see the collusion there, but I don't know if they're going to be able to find the collusion where they're going to be able to take away a draft pick from both of them.
There's enough factors to look at it down the road, depending on how the bidding war ends up going. I don't think we're going to be able to find anything now, just because we don't know when Aaron Judge is going to sign. We don't know how many teams will end up being involved in it. Until we know these later offers of what these teams are going to go for, there's not going to be any evidence of that. Now, if Aaron Judge directly signs back with the Yankees, depending on what the contract is, maybe that doesn't end up happening. I don't think that'll end up happening because the Giants are already in on the 8-year deal. The Dodgers are going to try to outbid the Giants. I could definitely see the Red Sox still getting involved. And I don't think we're going to know until the final offers for each team end up coming out whether Aaron Judge did end up getting lowballed in his market because of that.